That video right there was taken in Kyiv. Russia launched a 7-hour assault that included firing more than 550 drones and ballistic missiles at Ukraine's capital, and that followed Donald Trump getting off a phone call with Vladimir Putin, where Putin said there's no way we're stopping our invasion of Ukraine ever until we fully take it over, Donald. And by the way, do you want to make some movies with us? Perhaps we can do a cultural exchange between Russia and the United States and make movies together. Then Russian television said that Donald Trump said it would be a brilliant idea for Russia and the United States to make movies and TV shows together. This is what's happening right now on July 4th. Honestly, a day that will live in infamy as Ukraine is under assault, as our democracy is under assault, and as Donald Trump's chief propagandist is posting, "It's going to be epic!" exclamation point in response to a Fox, and I put this in quotes, news article saying Trump says UFC fight will take place on the White House grounds. As our editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski writes this morning, gold everywhere, paintings of mugshots everywhere, a new cheesy Mar-a-Lago-style ballroom, now a UFC fight. The crass and classless ass continues to sully the grandeur and dignity of the People's House to turn it into one of his failed Atlantic City casinos. One of the things we're also learning as well this morning is that Trump's pardons of all of those criminals have cost crime victims $1.5 billion in restitution that they will now never see, mostly victims of fraud committed by Donald Trump's cronies. Our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, also says, it is completely obvious that if Trump were alive on July 4th, 1776, he would have been a loyalist backing King George III while searching for every possible way to make as much money off the war as he could while remaining as far away from any combat as possible. I think that perfectly defines Donald Trump. Also, an NBC exclusive from Ana Cabrera explains that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, halted weapons for Ukraine despite military analysis that the aid would not jeopardize U.S. readiness. So one of the things the Defense Department is saying is the reason that they've just cut off the aid to Ukraine in the form of critical weapons that Congress authorized is that the United States just simply doesn't have the resources anymore, and it would impact our troop readiness. We know that to be 100% false, but we also know that everything that this regime says is 100% false. I'll just show you some B-roll right here of what Kyiv looked like this morning after Russia bombarded it following that phone call with Donald Trump from the Kyiv Insider. Russia launches massive attack on Kyiv immediately after the Trump-Putin call. Immediately after Donald Trump spoke with Vladimir Putin by phone, Russia launched a massive overnight strike on Kyiv, firing more than 550 drones and ballistic missiles in a coordinated 7-hour assault on Ukraine's capital. This from Yulia Savenko, who is the Ukrainian first deputy prime minister. She goes, what Kyiv endured last night cannot be called anything but a deliberate act of terror. A sustained 7-hour coordinated attack over 550 drones and ballistic missiles launched onto the people of Kyiv, families running into metro stations, basements, underground parking garages, mass destruction in the heart of our capital, she explains. Here, by the way, you can see people in the bomb shelters in Kyiv as residents spent the night in shelters as Russia launched those drones. Here, take a look. Here are more scenes from Kyiv this morning after Russia inflicted what may be the largest attack of the war on Ukraine's capital. Kyiv is burning. Words fail. The pain is unbearable. Poland's foreign minister is calling out Donald Trump, saying, massive Russian attack last night has caused fires and much damage, including to the Polish consulate in Kyiv. President Trump, Putin is mocking your peace efforts. Please restore supplies of anti-aircraft ammunition to Ukraine and impose tough new sanctions on the aggressors. Stanislav Asayev writes, Nights in Kyiv increasingly resemble scenes from a film about the Nazi bombing of London. Machine gun crews on the roads, air raid sirens that last for hours, metro stations packed with people, searchlights in the night sky searching for Russian drones, explosions from ballistic missiles, and thick gray smoke enveloping the capital in the morning. Like the Nazis, the Russians use night raids to finally break the will to resist, to force part of the country to emigrate, and the rest to pressure the government for a peace deal at any cost, which in fact means capitulation. Also, with Donald Trump's utter weakness, China is no longer hiding their support of Russia's ongoing killing. In Ukraine, Chinese factories are placing all manufacturing data for key components of the Russian drones that killed innocent civilians in Kyiv last night. And as I mentioned, Putin and Trump were talking about making movies together. Yesterday, when Donald Trump was asked about his call with Putin, Donald Trump said that there was no progress made. Play this clip.
We had a call. It was a pretty long call. We talked about a lot of things, including Iran. And we also talked about, as you know, the war with Ukraine. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. No, I didn't make any progress with him today at all.
But instead, Donald Trump wants to post photos like this. Weird photos of himself dancing to the YMCA, reposting the House Republicans. We were doubted. We kept delivering one big, beautiful bill. Or Donald Trump like humping the American flag and kissing it. Really weird stuff. We're getting this footage from the vote of the disastrous budget bill. It looks like some of the Republican men were grabbing the asses of other men. They were grabbing each other's buttocks. I kid you not. Here's what they were doing, groping each other's butts yesterday while the vote was taking place. Let's play it. That looked like MAGA Republican Tim Burchett grabbing the butt of another MAGA Republican in front of Mike Lawler, and they were all laughing about groping each other. That's the MAGA Republicans for you. You saw it there for yourself. I mean, I'm not making that up. You could see it. A reporter asked Troy Nehls, a MAGA Republican, about the bill. Aren't you worried that there are going to be so many people kicked off of Medicaid while smoking a cigar like the Penguin in Batman? Watch MAGA Republican Troy Nehls' response. Let's play it.
Can I ask you, though, about the CBO score and the idea that 11 million, 12 million Americans may lose health insurance?
I don't have any faith and confidence in the CBO. They're scoring. They're wrong half the damn time. I don't give any... No,
so you're not
I'm not worried about the CBO.
You're not worried at all that Americans may lose their health care?
Oh, well, just some Americans that aren't Americans.
And one of the things that Trump was doing all throughout the morning, he had the Social Security Department, Social Security offices, to anybody who's on Social Security. If you get Social Security, they have your email. They sent this email saying that now there's no tax on Social Security, which is false. So you have the Social Security office sending propaganda to seniors, lying to seniors that they don't have to pay taxes on their Social Security anymore, again, which is not in the bill. There's a deduction that you can take under the bill, but there's nothing in the bill that talks anyway about no taxes on Social Security. So that's what we got this morning. We'll keep you posted every step of the way, but you see just how utterly weak Donald Trump is this morning. But why don't I just show you this, just so you can see for yourself. Here was Trump saying that he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Play the clip.
Could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, I could.
How would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well.
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost. And there'll be no more bombing of Ukraine. There'll be no more bombing of Russia. And everybody will be happy.
It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done.
And here's Donald Trump saying when he actually said that he was being sarcastic. Here, let's play it.
You once said that you would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. You later said that sarcastically.
Well, of course it was sarcastic.
But you've now been in office for 5 months and 5 days. Why have you not been able to end the Ukraine war?
Because it's more difficult than people would have any idea. Vladimir Putin has been more difficult. Frankly, I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days that was simmering for 30 years, frankly. We ended Rwanda and the Congo. It's coming to sign the documents. We've already signed basic documents, but they're coming, I think, to the White House on Friday. We ended Serbia was going to go at it. But maybe the most important of all, India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about in the Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. This is they have nuclear weapons. I ended that with a series of phone calls on trade. I said, look, if you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was. It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting each other, we're not doing any trade deal. No, you have to do a trade deal. I said, we're not doing any trade deal. And in fact, I had the general, who was very impressive. The general from Pakistan was in my office last week. You know, Prime Minister Modi is a great friend of mine. He's a great gentleman. He's a great man. And I got them to reason. I said, we're not doing a trade deal if you're going to fight. And if you're going to fight each other, we're not doing a trade deal. And you know what? They said, no, I want to do the trade deal. We stopped the nuclear war. Go ahead.
I thought it was important to show you that. Oh, and by the way, they can't even cook burgers right at the White House. They pre-cooked the burgers yesterday. 2,000 burgers were pre-cooked. And now they're going to like microwave them today, the July 4th event. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. We're in this together. We're in you on this. We're with you on this 4th of July. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.